welcome everybody. Thank you all for coming out today. I really appreciate it. For the new people, hopefully this will be helpful, and maybe even for the people that have been here for a while, we'll answer some of the questions that you guys might have. We have different questions every year, so hopefully we'll go over it and go through some of those. We've got 4 presentations today. The first one is wildlife, the second one is aquatics, forestry, and then soils and land use. These people that are coming to give the presentations are all volunteers, and they're all very super helpful. If you have any questions about any of the materials, I'm sure that they'll be glad to answer anything that you have. Our 25th anniversary competition is going to be held this spring, and we're going to be in Nacogdoches. So please mark your calendars, March 28th through the 30th. Hopefully everyone can attend. The Texas Envirothon started in 2001, and the first one was held at Stephen F. Austin University, and so it's appropriate that we're going back there for our 25th anniversary. What is the Texas Envirothon? Environmental education program designed to enhance the students' problem-solving and critical thinking skills. Our mission is to develop knowledgeable, skilled, dedicated citizens who are willing to work toward achieving and maintaining a natural balance between the quality of life and the quality of environment. And that really comes through with the oral presentation part of this competition, I think. I'm just going to show you some of these. So this is the Texas Envirothon website. This is a website that we maintain here at UHCL. So there is a fair amount of good information on here if you have time to sit down and go start looking through. So we've got information about the current competition. We've got study guide information, and this has got all of the topics here. We've got field test with answers for especially the new people that have never seen a field test. I think that'll be very helpful for you guys to look at. Teacher workshop presentations. So this is for this workshop. Is if we go back, and then if you go to past competitions, this is really interesting, except for the top 2 here. When you go down, so we were in Nacogdoches in 2019. So, it might be useful to go and look at some of the questions and some of the topics that we had there. So if you go, we've got our team up here who was the first place winner was Richardson High School. And then we've got Science Academy of South Texas. We've got the scores up there, but more importantly, we've got the resources here. So that year, the special topic had something to do with agriculture. But there's a lot of information on here. The current issue. So if it happened to be the same, topic, then you would have some more information here in these different years. And 2001 was the same topic as it was then. It's non-point source pollution.
I don't think we've got the resources from back then, though.
They are on there.
Are they?
I won't guarantee you that they're that great, but here they are. So we have some recommended resources on here.
You will be posting new ones.
We will be posting new ones, yes. And we'll post new ones under the current competition. But this is a great archive to go through and look for some of the things to be used again. But the study guide has lots of information. So if you go to aquatics, we've got, all of these resources. There's just so many resources that are available to you. All right, so I just wanted to point out that our website is a really helpful guide.
So Wendy, where is the past presentations?
So those are coming up. So I'm going to show you, we have a YouTube channel in just a second too with the past presentations. I wanted to show you also the National Envirothon website. So this is it's called Envirothon. They've changed their names a lot of times. It used to be the Canon Envirothon, then it was the North American Envirothon, and now it's sort of the NCF Envirothon, but I think it's just Envirothon now. NCF is the National Conservation Foundation, and it's part of NACD, the National Association of Conservation Districts. That's where the program is currently housed. They also have a fair amount of information. Sorry, I need to right here. So if we go to the current competition, that's probably the most useful thing that you can find here. And then they have got some resource materials. Here's the current issue. This is where you can start looking for some of those current issue resource materials already. They'll be sending out another study guide, I think in May, but just make sure that you're checking these websites because there's a lot of information that they're putting up. And I'll try, when I see that they've added new stuff, I try to send it out and say, have a look at the NCF Envirothon website because they've got new information. Yeah. Just a little bit about the history of Envirothon. It started in Pennsylvania in 1979. Pennsylvania continues to be a really strong competitor for Envirothon. They actually start Envirothon in their elementary school. So they have elementary competitions, middle school competitions, and that's why they are almost always in the top 10 when it comes to the nationals. We started in 2001 up in Nacogdoches, and we've done okay at the national event. It's really tough to do well there. You're competing with 50 to 54 teams, I would say, from the United States, Canada, and also China. China sends about 4 or 5 teams every year to this competition. So the competition is tough, but in 2006, Texas won 3rd place at the national events. 2015, so there's a little bit of a lapse there. 3rd place again, and then we won the forestry category. 2018, Texas won the forestry category. So they give prizes for each of the categories, and then the top 15, I believe. Is it 15, Andrew? And then 2025, our team from Texas placed 9th, which was really fantastic because we're in Alberta, Canada, and it just couldn't be any more different, really. The plants, the animals, the culture, it was really, it was awesome that they did so well. All right, so does everybody kind of already know the areas of study? Aquatics, forestry, soils and land use, and wildlife, and then our current issue. So this is what Rowena was talking about, our YouTube videos. So we have so many of them. So Texas Envirothon has a YouTube channel that Debbie maintains. Lots and lots of, how many years of videos do we have here? Well, let's just...
Probably 5.
And so whenever Debbie is able to record the presentations, the teacher workshops, the student workshops, everything goes up here. So there's a lot of information, a lot of great information, a lot of great videos. And so you could spend like a whole month going through all these with your students. And if you want to see how the students present, there is a presentation down here. It's a 15-minute presentation from 2014 to give you an idea of what the students look like when they're doing their oral presentation part of the competition. And then so we have the aquatics, forestry, wildlife, soils, and the current issue. Each one of those is part of a field test. And those are worth 100 points apiece on the overall score. The oral presentation part is worth 200 points. And so Rowena's going to talk a little bit about the oral presentation. And we have the judges' score sheet that I'll hand out to everybody.
Yes. So the oral presentation, we send out a scenario 1 week in advance. And the scenario is a complex problem, a real life problem with many different facets to it. And there's no right answer. It's a case of what the students, you've got to consider multiple factors, where they're going to get funding, who's going to use the property, what they're going to use it for, what are conservation issues are there, and they need to use their imagination, and they've got about 20 minutes to create a response to the question. So we do it on PowerPoint. Some people like to do it in Google Drive. I will just say where we are, normally there isn't internet access for the students to fetch their presentation off the internet. So no matter how they create it, it's got to be on a physical thumb drive when they arrive at the competition. They have 20 minutes to present, and then there are 10 minutes for questions. So they're going to present in front of a panel of 3 to 5 people that they don't know. These can be university lecturers, they can be members of the community, they could be resource professionals, and they will get graded according to this rubric that Wendy has just handed out to you. So they will get points for how well prepared they seem. They will get points for how they divide the work between them. They will get points for how many resources that they quote. They will get points for having the right amount of time. And then, of course, there are very few points on general impression. And the better the general impression, the better they're going to score. And I will tell you now that judges all like enthusiasm and passion for their subject. They all like it when the students come up with a new idea, a different idea, an out-of-the-box idea. Even if it isn't that practical at the end of the day, if they have an idea and they're able to justify it and have arguments why they think it's a good idea, they will score highly for that. And I would also say, it's not an opportunity for the students to just spout everything that they've learned on the current issue, like in a debate, racing through all the facts. Judges don't usually like that. They appreciate it when the students look at the scenario that's been presented to them, look at the questions that have been asked of them, and make an attempt to answer those questions. So it needs to be a focused presentation. Like I said, there's no correct answer. We send out the scenario a week in advance, and then once the students, they all have exactly the same amount of time to prepare, every team. Once they reach the part of the competition where they're going to give the oral presentations, obviously they're not doing them simultaneously. We usually have 3 or 4 different rooms where judges are going to be judging, and each group of judges will see 3 or 4 different presentations. Once they reach the waiting area, we will take those thumb drives from them and any of their little notes that they have for presentations. And then 30 minutes before their presentation time, they'll get it back. They'll have a last few minutes to practice, and then they go into the room and they present. And then we take those materials back from them again.
And this should be all their ideas.
Yes.
It should be the students doing all the work on
Yes. So when they actually do the presentation, if the students give permission, so it's not really open to the public, but you can watch if the students say that's okay. All right, so it's up to the students whether you'll be allowed in the room or not. Obviously, you're not allowed to interject or help them answer the questions in any way. It's all the students' own work. For the presentation, you can see there, they need to wear something reasonably smart. It looks good if they wear matching colors, if that's possible. We don't expect anybody to go out and buy new clothes to do Envirothon. That is not necessary. But we will be handing out a T-shirt at the beginning of the competition. We expect them all to wear their T-shirts, not to wear anything which identifies which school they're at. And when they introduce themselves to the judges, they just give their team number. They don't give a team name. It's all anonymous. And then what happens is we will put their scores together with their field test scores, and then the top 3 teams, not necessarily the top 3 presentations, but the top 3 overall teams will get to present again the following morning. And they find out who those teams are that morning. And so then those 3 teams will present again in front of a different panel of judges who hasn't seen any of the presentations, and they will get a new score for their oral presentation, which will replace their old score. And then, we will find out who's first, second, and third. Okay. All right. So for the prizes, there are 6 category prizes, 5 for each of the categories on the field test and 1 for the oral presentation. Those get awarded to the team with the highest points in that category. And then we also have first, second, and third places. Those, it's going to be slightly different to where we've done it before, but we've decided that the top scoring team in each school will be counted for that. So it will be, if the top 3 scoring teams are all in one school, only the top scoring team will be counted for first, second, or third. So another school has an ability to get the second prize or the third prize. So we'll be looking at the top scoring team from each school to award the first, second, and third prizes overall. The big prize is, we give little awards, and we give books out as prizes during the awards ceremony, but the big prize is the winning team. The winning team gets to represent Texas at the National Envirothon event.
Which will be in Mississippi this year.
Yes.
Yes, Andrew.
For the oral presentation for the top 3 teams, is it the top 3 teams of?
I was just thinking about this as she was saying this. Are we still gonna have this top 3? Is it the top 3 teams as they are, or is it the top 3 teams?
No, it'll be the top 3 teams according to the team scores.
So the same school could potentially do the 3
Yes.
presentations. Okay.
Yes.
But not necessarily be in the top 3.
Okay, understood.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I just want to go over a couple more things real quick. The resources. This is one of the resources that we have here. Oh yeah, we have one of our teachers here, Kim. So we'll be having 2 teacher workshops. You'll get SBEC credit for this one today, and there's also a $150 stipend that you guys have to sign up to become vendors. So be sure that you do that, and then we do the rest of it. As long as you're here, we will take care of that. And then in January, February, there'll be a Zoom meeting that will cover the current issue, and that one will have a $50 stipend associated with that. And the reason that we're able to have these stipends is we have a grant with the TCEQ and Galveston Bay Estuary program this year. And so this is probably the first time that we've ever been able to offer teacher stipends. So we're really happy about that and grateful for this opportunity to partner with them. Each of the schools can also receive up to around $400 in materials, such as a Munsell color book or a clinometer or any kind of materials that you are needing. We have a teacher survey for you guys to fill out today before you leave. It shouldn't take very long, but you can also write in there what kind of materials that you're interested in. When the students come for the presentations, they will also go through some trainings that morning. So they'll get to go to all these different trainings as a way of trying to level the playing field. So everybody has the opportunity to learn some new stuff. And then we will also be doing some tutorial how-to videos on like tree measurements and using Munsell color books. Those are probably going to be happening in the fall. That's again with the funding that we received with our grant from TCEQ and Galveston Bay Estuary program. Cindy is here today. She is also one of our partners on that grant, and she has come up with the survey. So if you don't like it, talk to Cindy. So just again, I don't think you can hear this, but we'll see. This is just a very, very, very quick. This is our team this year.
Camping grounds and photo spots. This will not only engage our communities, we're also going to be planning on incorporating spots that we already have, such as our office spaces and outdoor teaching
Presenting
centers.
at the National Envirothon. Just wanted to put that in there. They did a fantastic job with their presentation. Almost the last slide here. The cost is $200 per team. Registration includes the materials, the t-shirts, and awards luncheons. Schools pay their own registrations and travel and hotel costs. And I know those can be expensive, and I think probably if you have a club or if you have some fundraising, maybe start to do that so it's not such a burden, I guess, on some of the students. We try to work with a hotel and get the lowest price that we can for the group rate, make sure they get a good breakfast. This year, we're going to allow up to 3 teams from your school, so you can bring up to 3 teams because we figure that we can handle about 24 teams, and that's about our limit.
That is absolutely our limit, yeah.
State competition. So 6 category awards go to the highest scoring teams again. The first, second, and third place is decided by the highest scoring team from each school. This is a list to our rules. It's on our Envirothon website, especially about phones and that sort of thing. Students are not allowed to have phones with them. We ask that you take all those up, and you'll be given lots of instructions on the day of the competition. A thank you to all of our sponsors and donors. The university does house this program, but There's no other funding that goes into it. So we really appreciate all the sponsors and donors that make this program possible. And there's my contact information if you have any questions.